All right, guys, we're back for another episode on the fly. We hadn't done a whole lot of interviews here lately on the fly, but this is one I've been wanting to do for a while. You guys know I was a big, still am a big California Dreams fan. That show back in the, what it was in the late '80s, early '90s, uh, and we've had a couple of the guys up here. We've had J. Anthony Frankie, we've had Brentley Gore, Aaron Jackson, and the more I got to, especially with listening to Jay talk about the music from the show, the guy that was behind the music for it and did some of it, wrote the theme song and wrote the iconic and one of my favorite songs of all time. So glad I was there from the series finale of California Dreams with me tonight. And I mean, he's done so much more. The more I did research on it, the more I was amazed. I was, this guy's done some stuff. But with me tonight is Mr. Barry Coffin. Welcome to the show, Mr. Coffin. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I mean, this was something I actually last year I reached out to you on Facebook and with the whole COVID deal, I got it for a while and then, trying to catch back up. I said, let me reach out to him again and see if he's still interested in it. And luckily you were. But man, what a great thing here to be able to talk to the guy and you look, guys, the background. I'm watching it right now. California Dreams. You can catch up on all the episodes on YouTube. Unfortunately, that's about the only way I can find it anymore. But first of all, thank you so much. What an honor it is to have you on the show. And growing up, you grew up in Houston. Am I right there?
Yep.
Yeah. Growing up, what were some of your early influences in music? How did you get into music?
Well, both my parents sang, and my brother and my sister sang, and so it was sort of the band trap family in that I didn't know everybody couldn't sing, And so my parents were graduated class of '60, so they moved us around. So I was born in Ohio, and I lived in Indiana, and I lived in like really places, farmhouses with no neighbors, and then kind of real urban settings where that was a little bit different. And then we lived in Florida like my junior high years, and then they eventually settled up in Houston. And then my brother and sister and I all went to the High School for the Performing Visual Arts down in Houston, which is an incredible school, and it really it was really, really influential. And also, in junior high, I went to I lived in Dunedin, Florida, a small little town. But the choir director, Ray Marquette, ended up starting the High School for the Performing and Visual Arts in Florida. And he just had a great choir program. And I was playing football. I got hurt my freshman year. And so I took extra choir classes because I couldn't take PE. And then it sort of stuck, from there.
All right. Yeah, I was reading one of your interviews, and you said you were talking about how important the High School for Performing and Visual Arts was till it turned you into a mediocre football player into something else.
Yeah. I was never going to make it in football, I'll tell you
that. Well, I think everything happens for a reason, I believe, and I think that injury may have happened for a good reason for you because you sure went on to do some good stuff. So talk a little bit about, that being at the high school. You said you took some extra choir classes and stuff, but there's a lot more stuff than just singing that you do. Writing the music, writing the songs. I'll tell you this. I don't know how you guys do it. I wrote, it was a few years ago. I think it was like my wife and my 20th anniversary. And I actually wrote lyrics to a song. And I mean, it flowed out pretty good, but I was like, if I had to do lyrics and if I had to do music and had to do like 10 of these, or 20 of them, I would be frantic. What's the process of that with you?
Well, what was really weird about the California Dreams, especially the first year, we had done the pilot for California Dreams, and then we'd done a pilot for Aaron Spelling for a TV show called The Heights, and both of them having a bunch of kids with a band. One was an older group, one was a high school, and we figured, hey, maybe we'll get lucky and one of them will go in. And by we, I mean it was me, Steve Tyrell, and his wife Stephanie. We sort of she wrote the lyrics, and and I would tweak some things, and then Steve would tweak some of my melodies, and he would produce, and I'd co-produce and arrange, and it kind of was the three of us doing everything, particularly in the first year, and then all of a sudden they both got picked up. We're going, oh, you gotta be kidding!
Crap.
And so we're writing. It's a song a week, and Steve's handled a lot of the everybody's business meeting thing like that. I'm kind of back cranking some things in there, and at the same time we're doing California Dreams. Somebody at Capitol released "How Do You Talk to an Angel" to radio just for fun, just to kind of check it out. Well, what they forgot is they had done a 90-second promo that played in all the movie theaters all summer. So when they put that thing out, it went screaming up the charts. And they just started the series. We didn't have any songs. We didn't have a record. So Steve and I fly up to Vancouver. He brings an engineer. I pick up an engineer there named Dale Penner, who's a friend and engineer, that I still work with today. And we were up there, and we're in Little Mountain Studios. We're in studios B and C, and Aerosmith is an A.
Oh, wow.
And I did personally 96 hours in the studio in 1 week. It was like, insane. We basically did almost the whole album in 2 weeks. And the poor actors, like they'd get released, they'd come into the studio, and then they had an 8-hour call. So at midnight, they'd say, okay, you got to go. And the producers would walk them out, into the parking lot, and they'd have to go. And of course, we go, if you want a good vocal, you'll turn around. And they'd circle back around, and we'd keep them till 4 a.m. And I'm sure that the makeup people didn't appreciate what I gave them the next day at all.
So you started out though writing jingles, right?
Well, I was singing jingles more. Like in Houston, I was singing, like, we used to have an Astroworld, which was like a Six Flags thing.
Okay.
For 10 years, it was "Come away with us to Astroworld." It's like all their jingles and stuff. And so I was doing that. I had a band with two girls that I had gone to the high school for the performing visual arts with, and we were packing out the clubs and just doing everything. And then Steve Tyrell, who was from Houston, came back in town, and he said, "Hey man, who's a really good singer here?" Well, my name came up. "Who's a good writer?" Well, that guy Barry. "Who can produce?" Well, there's this Barry guy. By the third time, my name comes. I goes, "Well, who is this guy? Let's invite him out." So I flew out to LA, and I brought my little bag of tapes. And Steve is just a wild man. So he was in the middle of working on supervising Extremities with Farrah Fawcett, which was James Russo's first film. It's based on a Broadway play, and it's, and so I walk in, they go, "Hey, Barry, good. I'm glad you're here." He comes in, and, Steve's like just complete hustler. He's an ex-radio guy, so he could sell sand on the beach kind of guy. "Yeah, we have to see. What do you got?" I whip out one of my DAT tapes and play it for him, and he goes, "That'll be perfect for this scene. You're in. Go in there," and then he does the paperwork. So I come 2 times, I come out, and I put a song in a movie because of Steve each time. And I'm going, well, how hard can this be? "Honey, we're leaving." It's like, so I came out there, and for pretty much 10 years, I worked doing stuff with Steve and Barry. I mean, Barry is such an incredible talent. I literally only wrote with him once, and it changed everything. And then Steve was running around. Like Steve, he's a real commercial guy, just a real commercial vibe to him. But he was a little paranoid, so he would bring in the most amazing players. And so I got to meet all these guys, and I got to work and he was just a wild man. Like he had the Jerry Hay horns in to play on some project we were doing. And they're the guys that played on like Toto 4 with Rosanna, all the Michael Jackson Thriller record. And he goes, yeah,
wow.
Go in there and tell him what you need to play. I'm gonna go have lunch next door. And he just left me in there. I'm like this little punk going, Mr. Granite,
yeah.
You're a little flack. Can we do it one more time, please? And so then those guys took mercy on me, and guys like Lee Sklar and Mike Landau, like these amazing studio guys, ended up being people that were my friends, and that were really nice to me while I was producing or learning how to.
Right. Now, growing up too, who were some of the bands or musicians you were a fan of?
I was a super fan of Michael McDonald, Doobie Brothers. In fact, I'm working on a movie right now, and I put Black Water from the Doobie Brothers in this new movie. It's called The Man in the White Van.
Okay.
and it's a great movie. It's a true story about a serial killer in Florida in between 1974 and 1980, right about the time I was living there. So it's the easiest job I've ever done. I'm going like, I know every song that was on the radio. Let's go, So it's been really fun. And so and I'm pretty good friends with Mike's sister, and Mike's son Dylan is in. I represent him for film and TV stuff. So it looks like Dylan's going to get a song in the movie too. So it should be really fun.
Michael McDonald's got. I always like the musicians that have such distinct voices that you can, as soon as you hear it, that's them. And there's not, some of this stuff. No offense to some of the stuff that comes out today, but a lot of this stuff sounds the same. But back then, Michael McDonald, you knew when you heard what Yama Be There.
Oh yeah,
Sweet Freedom, and any of the Doobie Brothers songs that he was on, you knew there's Michael McDonald. But
oh yeah, on my senior recital at the high school for the performing visual arts, I closed my senior recital with "Taking It to the Streets" with 3 black girls wailing a sax. I did the whole thing, and the clinician who was reviewing my performance said, "If you record this, I'll buy it." I'm going,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I was a really big fan. I haven't really told Mike how big a fan I was. I was a complete fanboy. I think his sister kind of knows, but I've never I can said all that stuff.
So now going back when you first get started, how hard was it to write that first song that you wrote?
Well, the first one's pretty bad. But by my second or third one, a guy who'd gone to the high school for the performing visual arts before me, Mark Holden, had kind of come back and was like he'd been doing Broadway, kind of shows and commercials. And he and I became friends, and he ended up producing my first 2 songs. And they came out pretty good. I mean, he was, real clever in how he did it. I mean, they didn't go anywhere or anything, but it was, I was in the studio by the time I was 16. And I played my first club at 14, so it's like I got in really early.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about, and you talked a little bit about how you got into California Dreams with Steve Tyrell. And when both of these, I didn't realize, and yeah, that time frame is right. I didn't even realize that with the Heights coming out at the same time. But working on California Dreams, what kind of experience was that working with them?
Well, it was interesting because the first year there were a lot of other people writing songs, a lot of big publishers and stuff involved, and then they sort of kind of fell away after the first year. So after the year 1 on, we kind of wrote almost everything. Just the 3 of us. There'd be a couple of a stray song here or there, but we would. And Steve got pretty busy too. So it was mostly Stephanie and I, and Steve would handle like a lot of the production stuff, most of that. But the writing stuff, we'd get to script, Stephanie do a lyric. Like we kind of got it into like this thing where she'd go and do a lyric, I'd write the songs around it. And you were talking about the last song that we wrote for the show. Like I remember we were having a meeting with Peter Engel, who's the head guy for California Dreams. We're going, look, there's a couple of ways we can do this. We could do this thing. And I said, I've got an idea to do something kind of down, and, and we could do this, or we could do something that could be sad, that could make them cry, and Peter Engel goes, go for the tears. Pretty much right into it. We're going, all right, well then let's do it. And so then we went on and finished it out that way,
And it worked because you can see the emotion on their face when they're now. I'm sure they had rehearsed. How many times had they heard that song? Because it's,
not a bunch.
It really looks like they're about to break down.
Yeah, it was. There was. I can't remember. I think I sang that one, so they didn't really spend a bunch of time on it. So when they got to the set and stuff, they were kind of hearing it. They hadn't heard it a bunch of times, so you could see that really worked to the benefit of the acting.
Yeah, definitely.
It's fun for them to think that they went, "Oh my God, are you listening to this?"
Because I did talk to Jay about that one and how that was, and then he said, "Well, we really didn't sing that one, and that's when he told me about you. But so you sang both parts. You sang Jay and Aaron's parts.
No, Aaron. Aaron. I think it. Let's see. I'm trying to think of if it was. It might have been Zach Throne. If that was the guy re-singing Aaron.
Zach Throne, really?
Yeah, he sang for somebody. I don't know. I can't remember towards the end who sang for who in the last year, kind of thing. But it was mostly. I think Zach sang one or two tunes, so it wouldn't have been. Aaron might have sang his own stuff. I can't remember.
Is this the same Zach Throne is playing? He's still playing now, right?
I think
He's
so.
playing
He was in the Heights.
He's playing with Bruce. If it's a Zach Throne I'm thinking about, and it may be a different guy. He's playing with Bruce Kulick.
I don't know. He could be. Zach's a weird guy. Zach's really talented, man.
Hold on one, because I'm telling you, he is really. If it's the same one, I've heard he is really talented.
Well, and Zach was in the Heights.
It may be a different one.
Yeah, it might be. But Zach is a good actor. He was in Cop Rock, so Zach was in the Heights. So Zach and it was Sean Thompson and those people. So we worked with both of those. I mean, we had those guys coming back and forth. Both the cast and crew members were drifting in the studio in that first year.
Right. I don't know. This guy, he says he's played in rock bands but man, because when you said Zach Throne, no lie, I am a diehard Kiss fan. I've been since I was 5 years old, and Bruce Kulick, who was a former member of Kiss, his band played on the Kiss cruise, and they were talking about how Zach Throne was playing, was singing some of the songs, and was great.
Different thing. Zach wouldn't have been singing with Kiss. He didn't have that.
Okay, that's got to be a difference. When you said it, I was like, wow.
Yeah, that would have been weird.
Yeah, and I also, people, you wrote the theme song to California Dreams.
I wrote it with Steve and Stephanie. Yeah, same thing. Yes, sir.
Iconic song there. I mean, I remember hearing it for the first time, and I was like, I watched Saved by the Bell. Of course, everybody, I think, back in that day watched Saved by the Bell. But when they started doing these new shows, and some of them were kind of lame, but this one I was like, this is kind of good, cool with the kids doing a band, and then that theme song just hooked me in, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And I do have the anthology.
Do you?
That they released. Yeah, I have the anthology. I had, matter of fact, I did a challenge to myself, and it would be a year at the end of this month. I was going to listen to as many entire albums from start to finish as I could. And that one was actually one recently that I listened to. So there's a lot of great songs that they put out of that people don't realize. And you got to like that kind of music. But yeah, I like that kind of music. Let's see. What other songs was it that, I mean, some of the better ones that you wrote from California Dreams? Can you remember?
Wow. I mean, obviously that the last one really comes into mind.
That was the best by far.
What was the one that the ballad because they did kind of a reunion thing and they had me sing "Too Much to Dream" last night was the one that they made.
Too Much to Dream. That was the one. Yeah.
Yeah, they had.
You were at the reunion?
Yeah.
I watched that. I didn't. I would have loved to have been there, but I actually watched the YouTube clips of that. So that was you. Okay. Yeah.
I was goofing off. I dyed my hair purple for fun. So it's like if I look a little strange, I was goofing off.
Yeah, but that was great. Too Much to Dream is a great song too. That was the one where didn't the guy steal the song from Jake?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So working with the cast, how were they to work with? I mean, I don't know how much time you worked with them, but how was it working with the cast?
They were great. They were all really, really good kids, all of them. The other thing too is by year 2 they hired me, so I would go in. We do all the tracks and stuff, and especially like they had the band for that was Lee Sklar on bass, the guy with the beard that plays with Phil Collins and all those people, James Taylor. Then Mike Landau, who's played with everybody from Michael Jackson to Faith Hill, amazing session player. The drummer was Gary Malabar, who was the drummer in the Steve Miller Band and also played drums on one of the Springsteen albums. Like he was just incredible. And then me on keyboards, like the one loser of the whole bunch.
Oh,
And we'd be every we'd come in with the charts, it'd be kind of early in the morning or whatever. And I mean, every single time I got something wrong. Because it'd be like 3:00 in the morning and I'm going F sharp, and it's like, yeah, it wasn't F sharp, it was just an F. And when everybody plays the F sharp, you gotta stop the whole session because wait, Barry got it wrong again. So I became famous for really writing bad charts too. I'm going, shut up, you guys. If I didn't write this song, you wouldn't be playing.
Exactly. So moving on from California Dreams, and like I said, talk about the heights. You write this song, How Do You Talk to an Angel? Like you said, it gets released as a joke, pretty much, just to see.
Well, it was a test, and they pointed
it. And you end up selling over 500,000 copies, goes to #1 on the Billboard charts. What kind of feeling was that to see that?
That was unbelievable because the whole time you're reading the trades why it's not going to go to #1. Shame this song isn't going to do it because Madonna's doing her new sex book. Same, it's not going to do it because this guy's released that. And it ends up being #1 in airplay for 6 weeks. And it can't get to #1 because Boys to Men, End of the Road is selling too many records, And we finally get up there. We're there for 2 weeks. And who comes screaming up? Whitney Houston with I'll Always Love You. So for 6 months, there were 3 #1 hits, only 3 #1 hits in the United States. Because Boys to Men was 13 weeks. We were for 2 weeks. And then I'll Always Love You was 14 weeks. So literally more than six months of the year, there were only three #1 hits.
Well, you keep some pretty good company with Whitney.
Yeah, it's like people who don't belong there, that would be us,
So what you worked on that? Did you work on any of Jamie Walters' solo stuff, or was that with somebody else?
No, Steve did most of that. I don't think I did anything other than I did the "I'm Sorry Donna" song for whatever that show is.
90210.
Yeah, 90210. Yeah, I did that. I did what else? I didn't do anything else with on Jamie's records because Steve started managing them and he was running around, kind of handling all that stuff.
He had one pretty good song. That "Hold On" was pretty good. That was short. But like we talked about before, putting a guy in there that's starting to launch his singing career and having him beating on his girlfriend on the show.
Yeah, that did not
be a career move.
Yeah, that ended up really killing his career.
It did. I mean, you don't even know where Jamie Walters is because he had a pretty good voice.
Oh yeah, great voice. And Steve recognized early on and said, "Oh man, let's get this guy like having a good basketball player. Let's get him as many touches as we can." So he was always feeding songs to Jamie, for Jamie to sing.
So, what is this about? How about working on the Brady Bunch movie?
That was really funny because at the time I'm doing the Brady Bunch movie, Steve calls me to do that, and I am in the middle of doing a country record for Maureen McCormick, who was Marsha. Her manager had brought me in to do a record with her. So it was all like in January, February. It was a very Brady winter, I'll put it that way. And so I'm working with her, and I went to Nashville. I got all these great players and musicians and songwriters. We're doing that record. And then at the same time, I'm coming back and working with Steve on the Brady Bunch movie. And the Brady Bunch movie, I think it tested bad or something. They didn't think it was going to do good. So we had a budget I won't disclose, but we had a really decent budget. So we were writing songs for all these famous bands. And then when they cut the budget, they're going, we can't afford the bands. Screw it. Let's let somebody else sing it. So I ended up singing the end title song with Zach Throne from the Heights. I sang another song. We made up a band name. We called it Generation Y because Mike Landau had helped write the song and stuff like that. It was Mike Landau, Lee Sklar, me, and Steve, So I sang that, and I sang it. I thought we were going to get somebody like Counting Crows. So, like, I'm singing the demo like Counting Crows, like I'm born here like you, and then they leave it. They leave it like that. So I'm going like, okay, like the worst one like that is I sang for a friend of mine. I sang the demo for Winnie the Pooh's Grand Adventure, A friend of mine.
Right. Yeah.
I used to sing demos for people, and when I'm singing a demo to get it approved, I would sing it kind of white, kind of rock, kind of R&B, kind of, all these different things so I could get it approved. Well, I think they had wanted Kenny Loggins to sing it, and Kenny wanted more money or whatever the deal was. It didn't go down. So they go, once again, screw it, let Barry stay on. So I stay on, and oh my gosh, if you hear that song, it's like, there's a baby face lick. Now he sounds like Kenny Loggins. Oop, there's a little Yamo beat. Like, I mean, I'm singing like 8 different guys,
I need to go check that
Oh,
out.
it's funny. Yeah. When you hear it, it's a little bit like I know what occurred. I don't think it's as ridiculous to everyone else, but to me, I'm going, if I'd have known I was staying on the record, I'd have never sung it like that,
Now, doing my research on you, and I have to ask because I don't know. Sometimes when everything on the internet's true, but
No, yeah, right.
Just looking up here, did you do some work on Kids Incorporated?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another show that I grew up with there. That was another great one.
I sang vocals for one of the kids on that show too. And that was hysterical because we were still doing an analog tape, so we would slow the tape down and speed it up. So I sounded a little bit younger, It's what they did to David Cassidy from the Partridge Family. I think I love you. So I ended up doing his voice in Come On, Get Happy, the miniseries. Like I was like the guest secret singer for all kinds of stuff. In the Brady Bunch, I'm Peter Brady when he sings like Elvis.
Oh, really?
Just so I did that, So I was like ghost singing for all kinds of people. The craziest ghost singing thing is I replaced Marilyn Manson in Moulin Rouge. A friend of mine who'd worked with Mike Knobloch, who's now like a huge guy, at the big studios and stuff. He was doing a lot of the clearance and stuff for Moulin Rouge. Like it was a huge deal. Can you imagine like going, hey, Sting, we want to do Roxanne as a kind of as a tango. What do you think? Hey, Elton John, can I change a couple of words to your song and make it our song? I mean, it was crazy work that Mike was doing. Mike ended up being the guy kind of over Come On, Get Happy too. So Mike really went on from working with Steve and over at the company I'm glad I was nice to him. Now he's like, but he went on to doing that kind of stuff. And so we came in, me and two other guys, and they put the movie up with all the different scenes. When it goes twice as fast, we just sang twice as fast. And we sang on a Saturday. It was in LA and New York the next Friday. So we don't get the credits. We don't get anything. You'll see Smells Like Teen Spirit. Nothing. No credits, no nothing, And they gave you the old, well, maybe someday we'll give you the credit, but they never made it. But they paid us a boatload of money. It was like, how's $500 an hour? Good. What time do I show up?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, $500 an hour. Yeah, that's what it ended up working out to be, I think, we stacked it up, and it was like the three of us, and I think we did like 7 tracks, It was like, and we are now entertainers. I feel stupid, and just, tracking it. Now another one, now faster, and they put the real movie up, but we sang to the movie. So that was kind of fun.
Wow.
So what?
I don't want to let the cat out of the bag with anything, but what's something else you've worked on that people might not know about? Or can you say that?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I'm trying to think of most of the crazy singing things we kind of brought up. Again, I've written 200 songs for film and TV. So there was a time, man, when I was flipping around late at night, and all, especially the late night, cheap movies where they're killing somebody and someone's top falls off kind of thing. I'm telling you, man, at some point in the 80s, 90s, late 80s, early 90s, I was flipping around on cable. Me again. Like it was like I hit 4 cable channels and I was singing, or one of the songs that I wrote was on, and I was like going, "Wow, you have a lot of bad movies." Like when you skip around and you hit yourself 4 times in a row. That's God's way of saying you're doing a lot of this,
Yeah, exactly. So talk a little bit about musicsupervisor.com, what you do there.
Well, it was sort of kind of an outreach out of what I did because I started drifting out of just songwriting and I started supervising films and scoring movies. I'm not a great scoring guy, but if it's the right kind of movie where they need something real melodic, something commercially kind of stuff, or a moody piano piece, those kind of things, I started doing that, and I realized there were a lot of software for me to help me write music, but there wasn't a ton to help me license music. So I got some Texas oil men, went down there, had some drinks, and talked to my boy, Sackett, him and his buddies. They say, I like movies. Will 50 grand get you started? And so I built a software in 2005 for licensing music, then called all my friends. Hey, I'll pitch you to film and TV. And now we represent 18,000 labels and libraries, 79 countries around the world. And in the last month, we pitched 89 projects. So we put an artist in the new Spider-Man. We got 5 young Sheltons. So I'm taking guys like me, and just licensing their stuff out and pitching them for film TV. And supervisors going, oh my God, I need a song like this. Well, let me help you.
That's pretty awesome there. I would have never thought of that's helping out. I'm sure that's helping out a lot of young songwriters too.
It's helping a lot of them. Yeah, we're actually the secret thing. We're working on our own music streaming site that's going to be kind of like it's more music discovery. So you'll be able to stream it, you'll be able to license it, or somebody like you that's got a podcast. We want to kind of make it so you could have a theme song you could afford to broadcast. Like we want to kind of sort of help everybody in the mid working class level.
That's something that I struggled for a long time to find a good theme song, and I'm still looking for a really good theme song that fits. But the one I've got now is pretty cool. But I'm still looking for something better. But yeah, I'll definitely you keep me posted on that because that's something I might be interested in.
Well, we're talking to some good money people. We're about 80% done on building it. And a lot of what we built with music supervisors, we spent about $1.8 million on the search engine, so the supervisor, and again, the library too. So the search engine, you can go as a supervisor and go, I want a rock song, mid-tempo with a male vocal that sounds like that band Oasis from the 1990s. It's kind of sad, but has birthday in the lyric, and I need it in Portuguese, and it has to have acoustic guitar, And so it keeps going. It's crazy good,
It's that specific?
Give me every song with whiskey in the lyric, and I have 512 of them. Yeah, it's that specific. Because as a supervisor, that's what you need.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, but I've never seen a search engine that specific with something like that. That's pretty awesome.
Well, it's a business one, so we service all the other supervisors, so they'll come with us or certain people. Like I don't think all the big companies know how many times we're getting used. We don't advertise it, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a really great tool for the supervisors, and it's obviously great for the bands.
Right. So you said you had some movies some music in the new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, we put a song in the end of that. It was one of those last minute things where they were kind of, oh my God, we're out of money. We're adding this extra scene at the end. Oh no, like we put it in, I think 2 weeks before the thing came out. A guy named Danny Osuna, who's out in Los Angeles, and they have the end of the Spider-Man where he's in Mexico, and they're kind of doing the preview of the next movie. And that's
the end credit scene.
Yeah, so that's what we got in. That's how we got in late on that
one. Okay. So before I let you go, anything you talked about the documentary you're working on now? Anything you got coming up besides that?
I think the Man in the White Van, which is going to be it'll probably be coming out in it could be as late as fall. I mean, we're not even done with it, so we're in the middle of it. But it's really good, and that's for Legion M Entertainment, which is really cool. They have crowdfunded their entire slate of films. So they have 40,000 investors that invested in their films, and they get a piece of all the films. So it's kind of like Kickstarter, except they get a piece.
Right.
So it's a cool company. They're really fun to work with. The director Warren's he's a writer director, so he's He's from Florida, so he really wrote a great script. It's always fun to work on a great project. So that's really fun. And the thing that we're excited about is the new music discovery platform. It's going to be called We Get Music when we roll it out, and it's exciting because it really changes the way, like, we pay the artist like 5 to 10 times more than Spotify. So it's going to be really.
Yeah, I know a lot of artists will be happy about that. That's ridiculous what they get paid on Spotify.
Well, the major labels are making $2.5 million an hour from streaming. So they're making a lot of money. It's just not trickling down.
You think that's why a lot of these old bands don't like to put out new music now, because they're not making enough off of it?
Like recorded music, it's not worth it almost. That's why the old guys are touring all the time, because that's where the money is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And see, that's something I miss about that's something I miss about the old days is I love technology. I love the fact that you can stream stuff. You got it right at your fingertips. But I miss going to the record stores, buying a record, holding it in your hand, and having the hard copy of it. And one of the things I used to love to do when I got a record or a CD or a cassette was read the liner notes.
You're in for a surprise. So we brought the liner notes back, and it is killer. You click on a song title, the album art blows up, all the liner notes, who played guitar, who played bass, the lyrics, everything shows up.
You got to keep me posted on this.
Yeah.
Please keep me posted on this, because that's something, I've got more into collecting vinyl now.
Yeah.
Just for that, I buy some stuff when it comes out. I go on eBay and hunt old stuff that I used to have and I've missed. But that is one of the things I miss the most about is the liner notes. So that you've got to keep me posted on this.
Well, you know what's crazy about it? So we got the liner note thing. But then if you go, oh my gosh, I love Lee Sklar. If you click on Lee's name, every song he played bass on shows up, and you can listen to it right then.
Yeah, this is going to be something.
Well, yeah, when we were testing it, every single one of us lost 3 hours of our lives. Because you'll go, I didn't know he played drums. Like, I found out there were guys, friends of mine, that were using the same engineer, or we both recorded at this studio, or that drummer. Like, all the stuff that we're finding out just playing around with the liner notes is so much fun. I mean, it's a blast.
I don't know why somebody hasn't made, and then maybe they have, but I haven't been able to find it, because I actually went looking one night for a website that had just liner notes from albums on it. But yeah, it doesn't exist.
What is it called? Is it All Is As Is? Just dang it, man. There's somebody who does that, the liner note stuff like that. But they don't, the thing, they've got the written liner notes and stuff, but it's not as cool as being able to click and listen to it. Like, oh yeah, that's definitely
it's not.
It's like IMDb for music, except that if you could watch every movie, like when you go on IMDb, go searching for TV shows, if you could just click and go, well, show me that actor in that scene, how cool would that be?
That's actually IMDb is actually where I got some of my stuff on you from.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't kept it as current as I should, but yeah.
And I'm looking at it right now. I mean, yeah, Mystic Pizza. How did I miss this? You worked on Mystic Pizza?
Yeah, and that was another fun one. So I should probably say this, that I am I'm great at picking songs, but I'm horrible at picking movies. If I hate the movie, you need to make it tomorrow. If I love the movie, don't do it. Like, it's kiss of death. Brady Bunch, I made fun of it. What a piece of crap. This isn't going to work. 54 million at the box office, #1 for multiple weeks. Mystic Pizza, oh, this thing's so stupid. They're just talking, blah, blah, blah. Then when we see the final screening with all the music in, I'm going, wait a minute. This is really good. It's like a good movie. Yeah, I'm like going, and then I worked on a movie called Everybody's All American that I thought was just one of the most brilliant scripts.
Oh my gosh. You worked on Everybody's All American. I love that movie.
I was doing stuff with that. I was working, then I had a whole run where Steve and I were trying to get end title songs. We almost had the title for Terms of Endearment too. Like all these like hope floats. And I mean, we just went through before Talk to an Angel, we had 3 or 4 of those things fall out at the last minute. It was unbelievable. We couldn't buy a hit, you know. Yeah, that's the thing they don't win. Yeah, Hope Floats was one.
Hope Floats is like my wife. That's what I was getting ready to say. If you worked on that, my wife will love you. My wife loves Hope Floats.
So I write a lyric to the melody, you know, I write to the guy that scored the film a beautiful song. We get this incredible singer who sings like Bonnie Raitt to come sing it, and then we're going, oh my God, this is killer. And then at the end of the day, something happens and they throw it out and put a Townes Van Zandt song in. I'm going, but I wrote with the composer. You can't do that, can you? We wrote the end to the Phantom too with Billy Zane.
Right.
Oh my God, it was so good. It never got in. And it was like
let me ask you this. You talk about these songs now. Have these songs ever seen the light of day?
No. In fact, what was worse is I had a horrible fire. One of my sons was really young and playing with a stick lighter, and all of my tapes, all my gold records, record collection gone. All of it. My studio, everything. My piano was in the living room. It's the only thing that survived.
Oh man, I was getting ready to say that. Yeah. Those songs would be something.
Well, Tyrell may have some of them, so I'm been talking to him about it. So we may have to, you know.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested in hearing that. You got my curiosity piqued on that, especially on that Hope Floats one.
Well, the Phantom one was so cool because it was like we had these. It was kind of like a Boys to Men, you know, kind of group thing, and the lyric was like, love is a ghost, love is a shadow, love is a mystery, love is a phantom that only a dog can see. Love, and then it's like, but the end hook was like, and the phantom is real. And it was cool as all get out. They had like these really great studio singers come in. And the guys that were going to tour with Michael Jackson before he died, those 2 guys, Dorian and those guys were going out with Michael when he passed away. So it was like, there's some unhappy guys, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're singing background for like those guys. I see them on TV. Oh, are they singing backgrounds with Don Henley now? Great. Going out with Michael Jackson. Like they were that kind of singers. So it was incredible and never saw the light of day.
Wow. Yeah, that would be something right there. I would definitely love to hear something like that. And, you know, you guys kill me, though. I'm going to go ahead and say, like I said, I wrote the lyrics to a song. And I actually, for our 20th anniversary, I had a friend of mine who is a musician somewhat. I asked him, I said, can you put this to music for my wife's anniversary? Mm-hmm. He put it to music, and I'm like, he said, he actually gave me a pretty good compliment. He said, man, if you could write 10 of these, you'd have a good country album. And I was like, dude. And I sat there and I said, you know what? I'm going to sit here and try to think of another one. I thought of maybe 1 or 2. But, man, I'm sitting here like, I can't get a good idea for this song. I got nothing but respect for you guys for getting an original idea for a song is something else. And it takes talent to do that.
It's a thing, like, you know, and the more you do it, the easier it is, I think, you know. Like I wrote 2 songs for this new movie, and it was or co-wrote with some people, and it came out really, really strong. One of them is kind of an old soul thing, and the other one's like a Three Dog Night meets Bachman Turner Overdrive Southern rock thing. And it's a young artist named Clay Melton who had a #1 blues hit last year. And this guy, 25 years old, sings great, plays like Stevie Ray Vaughan. Like this thing could be a screaming hit if it comes out right.
Clay Melton,
and Clay Melton, check him out.
I'll check him out.
Yeah, he's really talented.
All right, before I let you go, one more quick hitting question, and I ask a lot of these guys. You know, you're the first songwriter I've been able to interview. If you could pick one song that you wish you had wrote, what would it be?
Wow.
Don't say Happy Birthday.
No way. Uh, I would say I Can't Make You Love Me, Mike Reed, the one that Bonnie Raitt sang.
Bonnie Raitt. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
That
a
guy,
great song.
he's a concert pianist, was an all-pro defensive tackle, and then wrote that song. Like that
Who was
just
that again?
Mike Reed.
Mike Reed.
He used to play for the Bengals. He was a all-pro defensive tackle, and he quit because he didn't want to hurt his hands because he was a great piano player. And then he goes to Nashville and writes
Wow.
that song. You're going like, you make me feel like a slacker, man. It's like, if you could do all those things, then I'd quit.
Wow. So
Yeah, that would
gotta tell you.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, this has been a blast. I'm not gonna take up any more of your time. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to do this. But you gotta promise me to keep me updated on this search engine because what y'all got going on. Because I would definitely buy into that.
Oh, it's gonna be $10 a month for the subscription thing, but we do what's called a user-centric model. So the only people who get paid are the people whose music you listen to. So like it's like we take 30% to do all the stuff we're doing, and then whatever the bandwidth is. But it comes out to be 60-70% of it's all going to the people who made the music. And so it's very, very pro artist.
So where can they find you on social media, on the internet? Where can they find you at?
Yeah, you can find me. I've got all the things. I'm not as active as you would think, but just under my name, Barry Coffing. So I've got a Instagram and a Twitter and all of those kind of things. I'm not super active on it, but I troll on there once in a while.
Yeah, I got you. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you go. Have fun in Texas and good luck on everything coming up. I've definitely got Man in the White Van wrote down right here to look for because my wife that's another thing she likes. She likes her. Even my daughter now is getting into the movies about the serial killers. So I'm not.
That's the demo. The demo are young people and women 45 to 65. They're all over the serial killers. Women like serial killer movies. I'm going, are you kidding me? They kill you, right? That most of the time who they're hunting. And,
exactly.
And you're going.
I guess they're trying to study up so they can learn what they're supposed to do, what the serial killers are doing. I guess.
We got two female producers. They're both going, oh, that's our people. I'm going, yeah. I'm going, are you kidding me? They're going, no, we're not kidding you. It's a female demographic.
We'll definitely be looking for that Man in the White Van, and we'll be looking for this search engine you got coming out. It's going to be great. Sounds great to me. I love the liner note thing. Thank you so much, Mr. Coffin. And
thank you.
Guys, that is Barry Coffin on the fly. Hold on, bud.